Okay.
Good evening and welcome to Farm Friday, episode 8. We've been doing this for 8 weeks. Wow, I can't believe that. And as always, we have our panelists in the chat today. They'll be answering all questions that have been sent ahead of time, as well as the ones that are currently on the stream. So I'll start with Mr. Simon. How have you been, bro?
I'm doing okay. I'm good. As best as I can be. Can't complain. So, right?
For those that don't know, Simon is one of my OG friends. He used to host like a Arsenal channel known as Canon Crested, and that was one of my inspirations even to do what I was doing. I remember the interview we had like years ago, man. I'm so happy about that. We also have Efizi in the building. What's up, bro? Good to have you.
I'm all right. Good to be here.
Yes, good sir. Efizi is also a very close friend of the chat. You know, we have his brother Ikine, who's also a very, very close friend of mine and an Arsenal fan as well. And of course, we have Kululu. Welcome, brother. How you doing?
Thank you, Enigma. Thank you for having me today.
Awesome. So all three panelists here are making their debut, and I'm looking forward to having a good time with you all. So typically, we answer questions that have been sent ahead of time, and of course, as the chat goes on, we'll also answer from the fans. And without further ado, we'll start with the first one, and I'll start with you, Kululu, on this one. He says, should fans be more patient given our injury list, or should they expect high performance now?
So I'll go, Enigma. I think the fans should be patient, given that we've just added a number of new players and we've been hit with some level of injuries earlier on. I think every match that we have played this season, we've had at least one injury per match.
Wow.
We've had new players also added to the team. Some didn't do a proper preseason. Like if you see Gyokeres didn't actually do a proper preseason, even though he joined us towards the end of the preseason. Eze had a proper preseason, but then he had it with Palace, right? And he has joined us and starting to blend with the system. So there should be a little bit of patience. I saw some grumblings at the stadium on Sunday when we were playing against Man City. There's a need for fans to give it a little more time. I know the pressure is there because Liverpool is winning every match. But then again, if we slow down a bit and if we relax a bit, the team will gel and we'll see the best of the players.
Okay,
that's my opinion on that.
Thank you very much. So I'll guess that you right now you have some patience, right? Efizi, do you have the same sentiments or do you have a different thought?
So I don't have the same sentiments. And to be honest with you, football didn't start this season. We've been watching football. Football has been there way before our grandparents were born. And everybody already knows there's an injury factor. And I think what is happening now is we are emphasizing a little bit more, or you are using injuries as an excuse a little bit more. For me, you started the season, you have 8 defenders, 2 in each position, 6 midfielders, 2 in each position, and 9 forwards. That's 3 in each position. Now, in every position, the kind of players Mikel likes to buy are players who are interchangeable, who can play in multiple positions. So you cannot, in my opinion, use injuries as an excuse. If you look at last season, we picked up 2 wins in 10 games that Thomas Partey played at right back.
Yeah.
And out of those 2 wins, I think one was in the Champions League and one was maybe in the league one was in the Champions League anyway. And then injury was the excuse. Oh, our 2 right backs are injured. And I feel like if you are running a team, why don't you buy good players in your under-21s as well? Or why don't you trust your under-21s? Why can't you bring in an under-21 right back for Partey to stay in his position? We can't keep using these same excuses over and over again. Okay, now we're 5 points behind Liverpool, 5 games into the season, and we need to be patient. What are we patient again for? I'm not against the manager. I'm against some tactics. I'm against some sentiment, because sentiments like this are reasons why we are where we are, the second place, the bride. We're not going with that mentality of, you know what, we need to blah blah blah. We need to do. If you look at the unbeaten team, Kolo was not signed in Arsenal as a centre back. His first game for Arsenal, he came in as a sub against Chelsea, and he played on the left wing. His first ever game for Arsenal. And then over time, issues happen. He had to play centre back. For me, I believe that a good manager, you are given a team of 25, 26 players, you should know how to manage your players. I'm sorry, I'll say this before I end this point. For me, personally, it might be a wrong opinion. Nobody might agree with me, but I would rather have played Declan Rice as a right back alternative than Thomas Partey. He's more athletic. He crosses the ball well. He has the energy to go up and down the pitch. He's played defense previously as a youth team player. Oh yeah, you take away that energy, but it's easier to replace that person in midfield than taking Partey, who is bringing nothing to you at right back, and then losing him as well in midfield, where he brings everything.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't think injury should be an excuse. We have a big enough squad. Mosquera can play right back, White can play right back, Saliba can play right back if need be, Timber can play right back, Timber can play left back, everybody can play everywhere. So let's bring out 11 players and attack this league. Let's attack the league. We're very, very lackadaisical about it. We need to attack the league, and it needs to start on Sunday at Newcastle.
Yeah, thanks, Efizi. Okay, and we also have a couple of folks in the chat. Osagi Ekine is in the chat. Good to see you, bro. So, Simon, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this before we go to the next question.
Okay, I have a varied opinion to it actually. I think it's the context of the question. The question says, should fans be more patient given the injury list? I don't think even the manager considers the injury situation as a reason for where Arsenal currently are. I think the context should be that who have you played? So Liverpool are 5 points ahead. But we have played Manchester United, which
Liverpool,
is
Man City.
We've played Liverpool and we've played Man City, and we're playing Newcastle. Of the teams, and we played Nottingham Forest as well, who finished really high in the league yesterday and currently in Europe. So of all the teams that we've played, only Leeds is the team that is the promoted side, and you saw how we performed against them. So I think the position that we currently are in is more reflective of the quality of opposition that we have faced, more than as a result of whatever injuries that we currently have. Yes, we should have done better against Man City, but if you go to Anfield and lose, there's nothing to be ashamed about there, to be honest. And in the manner in which we lost, we should have been more front-footed in that game, but we lost by one of the greatest free kicks that you would ever see. And Man City, we should have been more aggressive, especially in the first half of that game. But we were playing Man City, who have a record of winning 4 titles in the last, whatever years. So yes, we should have been a little more front-footed. But I think the question should have been, given the level of opposition that we have played, should we be more patient with the results that we're getting? Because I think we have had the toughest set of games compared to the people who will be challenging in the league for the league title. That's the context that I would see it from, rather than from an injury perspective.
Okay, so what I think is that I don't believe we should look at the games the way they are, because every fixture is set at the beginning of the season. Eventually, you're going to play everybody 2 times over 38 games. So whether you're playing the big boys now, whether you're playing the big boys later, whoever is in front of you, you need to get your results. So let me just ask a quick question to you, Kululu.
But you also need to put that into context, right? So you take a manager like Patrick Vieira when he was the coach of Crystal Palace. He had this tough set of 10 games, and ideally, on an average, for a club like Crystal Palace, you would expect that they wouldn't win most of those games, and he got fired on the back of that. And I think Roy Hodgson replaced him. And if you're going to look at what Opta predicted for the games that Roy Hodgson won afterwards, if Patrick Vieira had been around for those games, he would have won a lot more of those. So the manner in which the games actually are sequenced has an impact on where you are currently in the table. At the end of the season, you can balance those points out. But if any team today plays, if you give Leeds, for instance, and you say Leeds plays Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, and Newcastle in 4 straight weeks, you can be rest assured they're losing the 4 games. But if they play West Ham, Burnley, Sunderland, they would have optimism that they could pick points from there. So the sequence of the games also has an impact, even though it's not an excuse overall in the season. But if you want to measure per where you currently are, you cannot ignore the sequence, the sequence in how you play.
Sorry, let me comment. Let me quickly comment on this point. Sorry to be.
Go ahead.
I understand that point, but where I don't necessarily agree, or let me not say I don't agree, I agree. Where what I don't necessarily like is the fact that if you want to win the league, you made a statement saying losing at Liverpool. So from that statement, there's a touch of it's not too bad to lose at Liverpool.
Yeah,
but in my opinion,
I don't agree with that. I don't support that actually.
It really is.
Yeah. Sorry. Let me.
Simon, hold on.
No. Being invincible. Yeah, I understand. But the truth of the matter is that we went into those games with the mindsets at which you are speaking about it now.
Yeah, that we
That's
do want
mindset
to lose.
Yes, a mindset of I'd rather not lose at Anfield, or you know, so that's my point. My point now is, regardless of the fixture, with the squad on ground, with the money that has been spent, with every factor put together, you should be going to a Liverpool to try and get a win. When we played in the earlier eras of them Henry, we went to every stadium to win. We didn't go to any, and the truth is the mindset of the manager, the fans, that is transmitted to the players. Because the players see and they don't want that if we draw at Anfield, it's good for Arsenal, blah 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 blah. I'll give you an example. I was watching something today and someone asked who has had a better season who has been a better manager between Eddie Howe and Arteta. And they brought on 2 panelists. One was a Newcastle fan, and one was an Arsenal guy. And the Newcastle guy, he gave his points. We won the cup. We done this from where we were. We're 18th. He brought us. The Arsenal guy could not even bring up a point for Arsenal. I'm angry and I was so embarrassed. Because why? Because we're coming second. We've won 1 FA Cup. But now, no matter how you look at it, it's always going to look mediocre in the long run. The way you said at the end of the season, you can balance it out, you can do that. That's how it's always going to do. If you look at the last 5 seasons of Arteta, it's always going to look mediocre. No matter how we try to argue with oppositions, try to argue with Chelsea
can I speak, please?
Okay, yeah, okay. So before you speak, I have a question for you before you speak.
Okay.
The lineup that was put in the Arsenal Man City game, what was your take on it?
The lineup that was put in the
Liverpool game, and the Liverpool
game,
both Man City and Liverpool game.
Yes.
So, do I think Arteta could have been braver? Yes, especially at the Man City game, right? At the Liverpool game, Arteta didn't go there to be defensive. He put in the players that was available at that point. I think Ødegaard was
injured from
the beginning, right?
Yeah,
so from the previous game he was injured, right? So so for me, do I think Arteta could have been braver? Yes. Do I think that Arteta also has at the back of his mind that the league should not get away from us at the beginning of the season? Yes, and rightfully so. Now you have all this set of players. I hear everybody saying, for example, at the match on Sunday, people were shouting, he's playing 3-6. Remember, everybody feels Mario is a 6. The truth is Mario is not a 6. He cannot even
Mhm.
defend to save his life. He can't play the
Mhm.
defensive midfield role.
Yeah.
He's an attacking midfielder anywhere he has played, even with Spain. Is
Yeah,
he
but
slow? Yes. Is he less effective than Eze or Ødegaard? Yes.
yes.
Is a lesser player. Do I trust Waneri in Ødegaard's position at the moment? No. Would I have played
Why?
Eze? Maybe yes. Do you understand? Waneri
Why don't you trust
cannot do
Waneri?
the pressing that Ødegaard does. Waneri, if you watch Waneri in matches, after 25, 30 minutes,
Yeah, he
40
gasses
minutes
out.
max, he gasses out. He's
Yeah.
not yet at that level. You see, I play football. Apart from the fact that I watch football, I play football. I play football 3 times a week. For a player to reach a certain level of maturity in his game and be able to pace his game properly and not just put flashes of brilliance on the pitch, he needs to grow. Waneri
Yeah.
has not grown to that level.
Yeah.
Odegaard, for all his flaws, for all his turnarounds, for all his overtouching of the ball, is effective from minute 1 to 90. He will keep pressing, and there is a need to press in the system that we currently have. You can't
Okay.
have a flair player. Waneri is not Messi when that can be walking about the pitch, and when you give him the ball, he will produce magic. He
Yeah.
doesn't produce magic. Do you understand? So you can't risk a big game on him. You can
Okay.
risk him in a smaller game and let him play 90 minutes, and you watch it. When he plays
Yeah.
90 minutes, he went to the under 21s. Didn't he go to the under 21s? I watched some of his games. He was not the star player in an England under 21. You want him to start in an Arsenal
He
full
wasn't a
team
starter. He
match.
wasn't
Yeah.
even a
Yeah.
You don't
starter for
understand? It
anyone.
Yes.
wasn't. So
Yeah. I
so
agree with you, Kododo.
when people go against Arteta, and again, I'm not an Arteta fan. I'm a football person and an Arsenal fan. I say to them that you are not in the trainings every day. You don't know the level of this player in terms of it's not only skill that the player needs to have. He has to have
Mm.
discipline. He has to have stamina. He has to have awareness of the pitch.
Yeah.
He has to be careful on the pitch. There are places you lose the ball. I'm one of the people that says, "Oh, Saliba is too tentative on the pitch." But when I think about it more and more, I say, "Oh, Saliba is at a position on the pitch that if the ball gets mispassed or misplaced there, it is a goal. It's almost a goal." The
Yeah.
same thing with the position of Ødegaard. That's inside
Central
right,
midfield.
central right
Channel.
of the midfield,
Channel.
the channel. If the right back is overlapping and Ødegaard is dilly-dallying with the ball, or Waneri dilly-dallying with the ball, and he loses the ball there, immediately they are
Like
onto
a trans.
Saliba.
Yeah. It's
And
a
before you know,
transition.
it's a huge transition.
Yeah.
So Ateta will not risk it on somebody. Eze, for for all his skills and for all the brilliance and for the maturity he has become, is not a marker. He's not somebody that will track back and put in the tackle and be rugged and immediately recover the ball. We play a system where if you lose the ball, we need to recover the ball quickly. And that's
Very
why
quickly.
Ateta talks a lot about dominance. You
Yeah.
need to dominate the pitch. You need to
And
dominate the pitch.
control.
Why? It is the type that we play. We don't play counter attack,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Our,
that is
our,
why,
our game is based on control, actually.
yes, that is why in some games, when you see, even when we get counter attacks, it seems like the boys don't know what to do because they're not coached on it. Muscle memory is football. What you train with, what you play, you repeatedly play it, you will be able to leave it out on the pitch. That's what they
Yeah.
do. And again, I'm not praising Arteta for the way we play. I think we should be able to play diverse systems even within a match.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if it calls for counter
Yeah.
attacking, we should be able to do it. They should be
Yeah.
coached on every aspect of the game.
Yeah.
And
Like
now,
even our left back, there's some games they should overlap. There's some games they should invert.
yes, so maybe that coaching is going on the background. I
Yeah.
don't know, because if you look at when in the last couple of games when Martinelli has come in and not started, there has been some slight changes
Yeah.
into how we
Tweaks.
attack. There's some tweaks. It tells me that they're trying to transition faster when the likes of Martinelli come as finishers, and that's why Arteta talks about finishers. It says
Yeah.
there are starters and there are finishers. Starters are to control the game. Finishers are to get the game in. I
Yeah. But
would prefer I will prefer that we nip the game in the bud in the first 20, 30 minutes. Then we can
And
control the game
be on cruise
till
control. Yeah.
whenever. No, but I won't sit here and say, oh, the manager is clueless about what he's doing. Do you understand? No. And again, when you said you had somebody on the board, Newcastle, Ødegaard, Arteta, we need to remember where we were as Arsenal when Arteta took over.
The trenches, man.
We're in the trenches. We're 18th or whatever in the position.
That's
Do you
emotional
understand?
talk.
No,
That's emotional talk.
no,
Okay,
no.
so
I'm not trying to.
According to Jay
I'm being
Boston,
objective. I'm
that part
being
is done. That
objective.
part is done.
Yeah, I agree. It's gone. But who would have thought that Liverpool will start the season 100%? Perfect. They are perfect. 5/5. Even City is not 5/5. So
But they are losing
when we
tomorrow.
look,
They are losing
yeah,
tomorrow.
they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose.
amen to that. Amen to that. I want them to lose. At least let them lose a game and let them. But I'm trying to balance the discussion here and not say, oh, we should all just attack the league. You can attack the league and lose the league.
Yeah. Okay. So
I still believe that we will win the league.
okay.
I believe seriously that we'll win the league. We've played a lot of difficult games at the beginning of the season, and it's still up for grabs.
Yeah, and it brings us to the next question here. He says, has his style of play become more pragmatic? And is that okay to win trophies? So, Simon, do you want to take a stab at this question?
Yeah, I think the question sort of answers itself. The style of play mirrors the manager that you have, and if the manager feels like that's the style of play that he thinks can win the league, then there's nothing that you can do about it, you know. So if every manager has, you won't recruit Jose Mourinho, for instance, and then say you want him to play like Carlo Ancelotti, or
Yeah.
you won't recruit like that's what my
Simeone.
what
Simeone is doing
Simeone. You know,
something.
a
Yeah.
typical example is with what Amorim says, and Amorim says even if the Pope calls him, he's not going to change his formation. So the point is, this is the manager's approach. He but with Arteta, it's actually, if you look at Arsenal 2 seasons ago, like I think I struggle with his approach a bit, because if you remember Arsenal from 2 seasons ago when we almost won the league, the very
Yeah.
first time we almost won
2023.
the league,
Yeah.
22-23, we were very attacking. We were one of the most beautiful
Yeah.
teams to watch
Yeah.
at
88
that point in
goals,
time.
and we're
So
doing so
so
well in
from
every front. Yeah.
exactly so from he then decided that defense was somewhat the way that he was going to approach winning and control and dominance, because that flair didn't guarantee us the league at the time, and he seems to have transitioned to that approach. And if, of course, we're more pragmatic, we're not as fluid as many people would like, but that's what he thinks can win the league. And if you do not agree with that approach, then the only option is to change the manager. That
Yeah.
approach has gotten us what, consecutive second place finishes,
Second place
which
finishes.
yeah, which to a large extent most people will be unsatisfied with. But
Yeah.
you're second best in the league, in a very
Yeah.
difficult league.
Yeah. So we
I
haven't.
think
Okay. Are you
if
done?
you
Okay.
if you
Go ahead.
the context is, if you look at the season that we're currently at, we have considered just one open play goal. I
To
think one or
Haaland.
two, right?
No,
One, the
just one.
Haaland, and
Just
then
one. Just
just
one.
one, and we've played 5 games. So
Yeah.
if most people like Mourinho would say that defense wins you the titles, right? So maybe that's his approach. It might not be the most interesting. Like you're watching Arsenal play Port Vale, and then we're not as fluid as anybody would think that we would
Yeah.
you would
That
see.
was a
Yes,
very random game,
like
man.
like you
Yeah.
would see, like you would no, but what with Arsene Wenger, for instance, right? You used to find the Carabao Cup games, even though we never actually won it under him, but you would see people like Carlos Vela in those games,
Frank Merida and
or
stuff like
Frank
that. Yeah.
Merida,
It's
exactly.
like a
And then those
breeding
games,
ground for youngsters.
yes, and those games used to be really interesting, because those are people that he's pretty much just coached himself on the way that he wanted to play.
Yeah.
So so I think we can win the league with this approach.
Okay.
But we're in a league where you're competing against Liverpool at the moment, and they're a very dominant side. Even Liverpool, if you're looking at them this season, actually, and that's why I agree with Efizi, right? I think
Yeah.
where
Easy.
where we should have been more. We should have gone for it more at.
They should be braver.
Yeah, because they've not actually played to their best, and in a few games they've had to rely on last-minute winners.
Yeah.
But what would you consider Liverpool's approach this season? Is Liverpool pragmatic or is Liverpool front-footed? Yeah, they're scoring a lot of goals, but they're also conceding a lot of goals. So which system can guarantee
it's like a club, like a cup that is half full, glass full and half empty.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So we have this comment from Gyökeres in the chat. Thanks for having you. He said, "Good point, Kululu. A lot of analysts do not know what goes on in the training ground and come with strong opinions as if they know the entire situation." And I agree with you on that. So we'll go to the next question, and I think I'll start with Efizi on this one. He says, compared to our rivals, Liverpool, Man City, and co., was Arsenal's transfer business this summer stronger or weaker?
Well, definitely stronger. Definitely stronger, and definitely, in my opinion, the smartest. Okay. So I think with Man City, there was a lot of panic buying in the sense of they need a fast enough rebuild. In all honesty, this team we are seeing now has taken us 6 years to build.
Yeah.
And if you look in recent years, in past years, you see that.
I'm sorry to add, a rebuild without losing anybody significant. Go ahead.
Yeah, exactly. So in past years, you see that players were not this coached, which means that you can just buy a Yaya Toure and in his first season is a sensational star. You can buy a Kun Aguero, you can buy a Mahrez from another club, and then life just goes on. But these days now, we have players who need to be coached or coaches who want to overcoach players. One of the two. So now what it is now is that we kept our first 14 or 15. So I'm including Trossard and the likes of Luis Kelly, that's assuming Calafiori is the starter, Ben White. So we kept our first 15 players. And then we added, and then we let go of like 7 who we didn't need. And of course, I think 2 ran out of contract, and the ones on loan, and the ones on loan went back. And we've added, in my opinion, quality.
Yeah.
People argued about Madueke at the start. People argue about numbers. People argue about things like that. But you see, that's where football is now. We bother too much about numbers as opposed to what the player actually brings to the team. Now, what Madueke brings to the team now is that apart from what it brings to the fans, which is excitement, whatever, he brings directness to the team. What that means is that he pins his fullback. Yeah, he pins his fullback down, which means that the fullback is thinking, I don't want this ball to get to Madueke. You are more concerned now about Madueke. And now what happens with that is when you have a winger who dribbles, who is direct, more often than not, you see that when he gets to the bar line, by the time he gets there, you see that like 2 or 3 guys there, and obviously, and so it frees up other players on the pitch.
Yeah,
it frees up the likes of, for example, now if you look at our second goal against Tottenham Forest, that straight ball from, I think it was Calafiori to Eze, Eze touch to Calafiori. You realize that the right back was not even concentrating on Eze at that point. Because Eze had not really done so much in the game at that. I can bet you that if it was to Madueke, maybe the guy would have been touch tight on Madueke at that point. So already it frees up other players. You look at Gyokeres now. In all honesty, anything I see on Gyokeres online, I believe is banter. Because 3 goals in 5 games anywhere in the world is a perfect start. It's good numbers. Yeah. But everybody just wants to have an opinion because it's an Arsenal striker, which is fair. That's what fans do. But for me, the Kepa signing for £5 million in 2025 as a first choice keeper is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I don't even want to talk about Mosquera's 13 million because we are seeing Mosquera real life now. So we know it was a steal. Maybe we didn't even know at the time. And then you see, even the Zubimendi signing, you will see that what a Zubimendi signing has brought is Zubimendi is an actual midfielder. So he's not just a DM. He's an actual midfielder. He's going into the box. He's crossing. He's nodding. he's shooting. So I'm not comparing him to Partey that is better than Partey or not better than Partey. But Partey was more of a general. He just sits in one spot. But Zubimendi actually knows how to move a ball. So when you think about all the side, I don't want to get to Eze because Eze is now the marquee signing that that we really wanted. So when you look at everything and keeping your whole squad, now we're forgetting that even Kai Havertz, he has barely played this season. I think he injured in the first game of the season. When you think about even his goal in the last game of preseason, where he took the ball from the halfway line, went down, and you see, so there's a lot to be excited about.
Yeah, but even have Jesus coming back soon.
Exactly, we have Jesus coming back, so there's a lot to be excited about. But you see, that's why in all fairness, like I don't know who said something. Okay, yeah, it was Kululu who talked about the 3-man midfield, about Waneri not being too ready and he doesn't press and blah blah blah. For me, in all honesty, that's a very perfect point. In fact, as you were speaking, you said a lot of things that I've actually not really. In fact, that was one of the best analysis of Arsenal I've heard most likely in my life. Like you broke it down properly. But you see, the only issue I had was as Arteta is making people dislike Mourinho for Mourinho doing absolutely nothing wrong. Because now I think the biggest problem we had was Mourinho scoring that hat-trick for Spain. He didn't have to score that hat-trick. One for just being enough. Make me do okay. Because now Arteta feels like Mourinho does not give us our own hat-trick. He's not going to help.
Because against Nottingham Forest, he actually benched Rice for him.
So I don't even mind that. I don't mind that. I actually don't mind if you want to play Mourinho, drop Rice. So we've played this 3-man midfield. Okay, even with Partey, we played this like twice or 3 times last season. That's Partey, Rice, and Mourinho, and it doesn't work. Why? Because there's no schema among the three. There's no Pedri. There's nobody that can. There's no. And you see what Ødegaard brings to the team. Like you rightly said, Ødegaard. When you were speaking, I was just understanding Ødegaard's importance to the team. And when people are saying, give Rice the band, give this one the band, give that one the band, minus Ødegaard's creativity. Ødegaard is actually 2 players. He can defend and he can actually attack. So that's literally playing a 4-man midfield. Mourinho cannot defend. And you cannot really say he can attack. He can score goals. And you see the issue now. When you were making that point, all I thought in my head was, but he signed 6 players. Why didn't he buy a winger that he wants to play as a 10 or play as an 8 who like Eze, for example, that he bought? But of course, Eze for me, I don't even believe Eze should play in that 10 role. I believe he should play on that left wing and have the Sanchez type of freedom where he just moves around because he needs space to operate. And that midfield role, that 10 role that Ødegaard plays, needs a lot of marking, tracking back, blah, 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 and everything. So I've never really been in support of Eze in that role.
Yeah, but the only challenge is that if Eze wants to play that kind of Sanchez role, we need a left back that can overlap, not invert.
Califiori does that already. And you see the problem I had with Arteta, which is why I like him. I love him so much, but I'll criticize him when I think something is wrong. Now, you had, for example, a Kieran Tierney who could do that role last season. But Arteta's stubbornness to change things is what really killed us last season, in my opinion. Because in all honesty, when you see that everybody knows your right wing is your strong point, do something different. That is why you see that Califiori is actually excelling at the start of the season. Because he's like a wild card.
No one is planning for him, actually.
He's not being controlled. I don't think you can even control him because Arteta is a control freak. There was a clip I saw where Arteta tried to drift in, and Arteta called him back and told him, no, back to the line. And Eze cannot really walk that way. Of course, maybe over time, he will. But you need that mad player, that Califiori that Baba, now you do your own deal. And of course, he knows at this present point in time, nobody's going to bench him. Because in all honesty, Skelly is good, but Skelly is not as good as Califiori from what we see right now. So he can have that freedom. Timber too gets a lot of freedom. Why? Because he is, in my opinion, the best right back in the world at the moment. So for me, it's a case of beautiful window, good transfer, but if it doesn't translate, we are going to, and Arsenal fans are used to having a scapegoat every season. We've done the Zinchenko one, we've done the Xhaka one. We always have a scapegoat. And if Arteta is not careful, Merino is going to be that scapegoat this season. Havertz too was a scapegoat, but we like him now because he's not really first choice again. Merino, if Arteta is not careful, Merino will be a problem for us.
Okay, so Kululu, I want you to speak about Liverpool's transfer window. What was your take on their transfer window compared to ours?
So I think ours is still a better transfer window than Liverpool. I know Liverpool got Isak and they got Ekitike, but I feel is but yes, they lost Luis Diaz and they also the of course Jota Gyökeres his soul died also. So I understand the need for two strikers, two forwards, but
and they sold Nunez to Saudi Arabia too.
Yeah, they had to sell Nunez because they wouldn't have been able to get Isak. They wouldn't have been able to play three forwards in the team. One person will be suffering. But even at that, I think it's an over-resource in the striker position because as we go into 10, 15, 20 games into the season, one striker would be how will I put it, unhappy, definitely. Ekitike is a top 9. Isak is a top 9. I think Isak would play ahead of him, but at the end of the day, one person will be unhappy. One person will not play second fiddle. And obviously, you're already seeing it. Scoring a tap in and pulling your shirt and raising it, is like you're telling people that I'm the one scoring the goals. Do you understand? I'm the one scoring the goals. I mean, it might become, and I'll be happy if it becomes an issue for them later on, so that but then again, I don't think they planned for Salah's decline. I'm not saying Salah has declined, but it could happen. It could happen. It could happen this season. Salah is a magician, and whom I think he has declined, and boom, the next 10 games, and there's Nations Cup also. So there are things that I don't think they plan for, which will become evident very soon. I know it's the beginning of the season, and they've had a perfect start: 7 games, 7 wins, no draws, no losses. It's looking all good. Now it's good for confidence, and I think again at defense they did not getting Gueye. It's a big blow. They replaced Trent well with Frimpong, but even Frimpong,
he's been injured.
But even Frimpong has played supposed to lie as a right back.
But that is a trick that has worked so far for them. It might not work later on. Do you understand? Where you get a really steaming left forward that can skin a player, they will skin Szoboszlai at right back. So it is working right now. So you cannot fault it. You cannot fault it. But as I agree with Efizi, our transfer window was a smarter transfer window. Now it's not translating yet, so you'll hear the complaints. But I think as time goes on, we will see how smart that window is or was. I think Better and Arteta they did a really good job this window. And tying down.
You didn't speak about Wits.
I purposely didn't speak about it. I ignored him. Even though you say I'm ignoring 105, is it 110 million pounds? It's not like I don't know about him, but obviously I don't want to declare it something is not. It's still early days. But from what I see, he will need some time to adapt. It's not a fix and start or what they call it. It's not a plug and play. It's not plug and play. It's not going to be plug and play. It's obvious.
Well,
It's all just
Haaland was plug and play, and he didn't cost 110 million. So there's that.
yeah. So things like that happen. Do you understand? And we will see what Liverpool's window will look like. Um,
in
I
January.
don't think they had a better window than us.
Okay.
They had more money for sure, and they spent it. It's a lot of money they spent on rates. Kittige, then Isaac, that's 100, 125, 110,
Like
69. That is
400, like
three
400.
three
Crazy,
players, three
crazy money,
players,
man. Almost
crazy money.
350 million.
Only three players, almost 300 million. So
More
it's
than
a lot of
300.
money they have. They understand, but I think we did the wiser window still. Man
Okay.
City, as Efizi has already explained, was a lot of panic buying. Some of the players have kicked in, but it's still panic buying. What
Yeah,
Becker
I
has
agree.
done that I've liked is what you were flashing earlier on, Enigma, is that we have tied all our good players. We have tied them to new contracts. I think Inshallah, by the grace of God, Saka's contract will be next, and we'll tie it, and we'll be done with that.
Yeah, yeah.
So that means we've kept all of our best players, and still we've added good players. It is the wise thing to do in the window. Better has come in and shown that what a director of football should do,
Yeah,
and this is no
yeah.
slight on
And
Edu, by the
Edu,
way.
yeah.
And
Well,
Edu,
Yeah.
has shown what the director of God should not do in Forest.
I
okay,
will
so
not, I will not comment on an ex Arsenal player and a legend for the team. But yes, for now, better has shown that
Better is better.
experience wins it.
yeah,
Better the
better is
better. I
better.
agree with you.
Okay, so let's go with Simon on this. He said, given that Saliba has reportedly agreed a new contract, is he now Arsenal defensive backbone more than ever?
Um, I think defensive backbone is I don't think you can say one person is like Virgil van Dijk, yes. But I think Arsenal's defensive backbone is more
Collective.
Gabriel and Saliba. It's more
Yeah,
collective. It's both of them,
yeah,
and
yeah.
that's why I actually liked watching Mosquera this season, because if you look at the game now, he's played with Saliba,
He just
Port
played with
Vale, I think.
Gabriel.
He's
Yeah.
played with Gabriel, and then even against Port Vale, he played right back. The only place I don't think I've seen him play is left back.
Mm-hmm.
So Saliba is amazing, but I think he benefits as much from the partner. He's
Partnership
world
with
class talent.
Gabriel.
He's
Yeah, yeah.
generational talent. But I think the partnership is what makes us better, rather than any individual's strength. Like
Yeah.
2 seasons ago, where we knew our season was lost when Saliba
Got injured.
got injured. I don't think that, given what we've seen with Mosquera now and how much Gabriel has grown. Gabriel wears the captain's band now, and he suits him like a feather, right? So
Yeah.
he's just as important as Saliba is, and the fact that he adds goals makes him maybe just a tinge more uh
Influential.
influential,
Important.
not more important. I don't
Important.
think more
Yeah.
important. I think not more important, just more influential because he scores
Yeah.
goals. Because I think primarily their job is to defend, and both of them are the best in the world. That
Yeah.
partnership is our backbone, and we're lucky that we now have someone, at least in the start of the season. Why I actually like Mosquera is that if you watch the game against Port Vale again, he he's vocal about what he wants people to do around him. It's not just that I'm new here and I'm going to take guidance from the
Yeah.
person who I'm playing against. You
Yeah.
see him point, you see him direct, and
So,
that just comes from the
yeah.
amount of experience that he's had playing
Yeah,
already.
yeah. Speaking of experience, did you know that in the last 72 games for Valencia, he played 71? He
Yeah,
was the highest
exactly.
under 21 player in terms of minutes in
So
Europe
you would see
for
that
the
you're
past
not
two
buying someone
seasons.
that is there's a difference between experience and age, and you're buying someone that
Yeah,
is really experienced at a very young age. So
I agree. I
I
agree.
but Saliba is awesome. Saliba is great. Saliba is someone that we should celebrate the fact that he's signed for us and that he's going to be with us for many, many more years. But I think from a to answer the question more directly, it's the partnership that makes us better, not any of the individual ones.
Okay, so Efisi, let me route this to you. Before Saliba joined us now, he went on loan to Saint Etienne, went on loan to OGC Nice, went on loan to Marseille, where he played even 52 games in Marseille. Do you think his time in France really molded him to what he became at Arsenal? Or do you think that if he had just joined the club immediately, he wouldn't have been the way he is?
Okay, to be honest, the Arsenal of then may have needed a Saliba. But the problem now is the Arsenal of then as well could have also ruined the Saliba.
Exactly.
So that is where if you recall, there were a lot of fans who didn't really fancy Gabriel when he came.
Yeah, initially.
But that was because he was making a little bit of errors here and there. I know, of course, we ended up realizing it was the language barrier, and also, in all honesty, it was just a bad team. That's the honest truth. We had a very, very poor team. And what the French, if I was even scared, I thought we were going to lose Saliba in the end, because I thought the loans were becoming too much. But you see, what the French loans did for him was it gave him game time, and which gave him confidence. So now we're bringing a Saliba back the way we are buying a Mosquera, with 71 games of experience.
Yeah.
With Saliba had more game time. So he played exactly his last season in Marseille. Because that last season in Marseille, I was
every game for them. Every game for them.
I was opportunity to watch a few games that he played that season. And if I intentionally wanted to watch a few games he played for Marseille that season, and as at that third season, you could see the confidence. You could see there was growth. You could see he was already. I think then he was 19. I think he was just about 19 then or 20. You could see he was already a leader in Marseille, and the Marseille of then. I think they were in Europe that season, if I recall right. I think
Europe, in Europa League, and they now went to Conference League.
Okay, good. Yeah, they were in Europe. They were in Europe, and I watched the highlight of his Marseille career, the tackle on Mbappe. And it was phenomenal. And in all honesty, as at when he came back to Arsenal, which was I think his season he started playing for Arsenal. Was that the season where we bought Jesus?
Yes,
it was. Because the season before, Ben White was still starting with Gabriel. Yes. Okay, yes, and as soon as he came in, you could see Arteta already trusted it. Because if you notice at the time, there was this big issue. There were two big issues. Number one issue was he wanted the number 2 shirt. That was with I think Bellerin at the time.
Yeah.
So he took the and Ben White had the number 4 shirt.
Yeah, so he took number 12 initially.
He took number 12 initially, yeah. So that, and does Ben White leave the centre back position? And it's a big call when you buy a defender for £50 million, who is supposed to be your limping centre back, and you have to move into right back for a 20-year-old.
Yeah,
it was a bold move, because in all honesty, we could have started Saliba right back and played Ben White at the centre just for a few games or for one season, and but it was a bold move, because when Ben White was bought for 50 million, there were a lot of criticisms. Luckily for us, we missed out on Champions League, I think, on the last day of the season, where we came fifth. And then the next season, Saliba came in, and Saliba went straight in with Gabriel, and Ben White was moved to right back. And now we're even seeing Ben White not even being able to make the squad, the first 11 anymore. So that's how much we've grown. And in all honesty, the 3 loan spells definitely improved it, because in all honesty, with David Luiz there at the time, there's no guarantee that Saliba being at Arsenal, they would have wanted to drop David Luiz on the bench at the time, because Arteta needed a little bit of experience to be able to manage that bad team that he had. As much as I wasn't a big fan of David Luiz at Arsenal, but I think Arteta needed David Luiz more than I think maybe we could have wanted, or maybe what at the time our finances could afford. So in conclusion, the 3 low spells were perfect for him and his development.
Let me just okay. Go ahead.
I want to ask you a question before you comment on this. So just have this question in mind, right? We had Ben White for £50 million at the beginning of the 21-22 season, and of course, he was shorted to right back, to accommodate Saliba. The question I have for you is this: what was your take on Ben White performances as a centre back, and performances now as a right back, and what do you think was better?
So I will first add something. Epizi
Very,
made
yeah,
a good analysis of the Saliba situation, and I think that's one of the best analyses of the Saliba situation I've heard in a while. Saliba came in and was able to take that position because of the amount of loan spells he had and the amount of game time he
yeah,
had. Game time. Simon said something about experience and age are two different things. Mosquera has experience. He's young, but has experience. Has played 71 games in the last 2 years. It's a lot.
yeah,
So
actually,
when you play games is what develops you. If you think back to even Saka, it was the number of
yeah,
games
games
that he
helped him
played
actually. Yeah, true,
that made him develop to this monster that we have right now.
yeah,
But
over
that
200 games.
coming back to your question, obviously it has worked out well for us moving Ben White to the right. Um, I think when Ben White was in the middle, if I remember very well, his performances were what you call a solid six. Hmm? A solid six. It means that it was not a I7 or a I8 or a I9. But
Mm-hmm.
at right back, remember 2 seasons ago, at right back before I had the injury last season,
Yeah, he was a monster,
Ben
man.
White was a monster. He was always a 9 or a 8 every game. He
Yeah,
never
yeah,
had that as centre back, to be honest.
true.
He never had that as centre back. So I agree with Pizzi. It was bold move for Ateta to buy somebody for £50 million as centre back and move him to right back.
Yeah,
That's what I say about training sessions. What you see in training, we as fans cannot see what they call it,
the manager says.
the manager sees. And at
Yeah,
the end of the day, Ben White, if he overcomes this injury, would battle even Timber for that right
yeah,
right back position, because there are some crosses, there are some overlapping runs Ben White used to make. They
yeah.
were fantastic. I remember the cross for Havertz in one goal against Chelsea. It was a
Mm-hmm.
mad cross. It was placed on his head, perfect.
Yeah.
No over crossing. That was Ben White.
Yeah,
That was
yeah,
Ben
yeah.
White. So yes, it has worked out. He has been better at right back than centre back for us for sure. So
Okay.
that's to answer your question. That's it.
Thank you
Um,
so
uh,
thank you very much. So there have been a couple of
Enigma, I may have to leave in a
okay.
bit,
Sure,
but it
sure.
has been just before I leave. Let me just thank every other person. Efizi, fantastic. Simon, very calm analysis. I love it. Enigma, your show is going places. Thanks for inviting me. I enjoyed every part of the show. Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you so much, Kululu. We appreciate
Thank you, guys.
your
Thank you as
presence.
well.
So there's some discussions in the chat while we're having our discussion in the panel. Okay, Organ was like definitely the best transfer window for Arsenal in a long time. It remains to be seen what Arteta makes of it. Then he spoke about Liverpool. He said Liverpool appears to have a really strong team, especially with the additional strengthening with Isaac. Fine. Arteta has his work cut out to achieve the most with his current squad and outdo Liverpool. And there was a response from Osagi, which I really liked. He said, I don't agree, okay? I think Liverpool has a good base, which is 12 to 14 players. True, but not a great 22. If they miss 4 to 5 players from the first team, they're going to struggle to fill the bench. And that's the truth. Pound for pound, Arsenal and Liverpool are totally different. In goal, Arsenal has Raya and Kepa Arrizabalaga. Liverpool has Mamadashvili and Alisson. The goal for equality is a lot. In left back, Arsenal has Calafiori, Luis Kelly. Liverpool has Gyökeres and Robertson. Okay, that's fair. But where they have a big gap is in centre back. Beyond Van Dijk and Konate, Joe Gomez is not it. And they also have this youngster, Leone, who just suffered an ACL injury, which means that they're just down to 3 defenders, and they have to start bringing someone like Endo to play for them. So I just feel that obviously they've been good enough with their victories, but once you have an injury crisis like us, I don't think they'll survive. So let's go to the next question. Speaking of injuries,
but to be fair, if any
okay.
club if any club has 4 or 5 injuries, they will struggle. So even if we have 4 or 5 injuries,
We struggled actually last season. So
No. I don't think he was talking about struggling. I think he's saying to field
the team.
Field that the play like now. If we have 4 or 5 injuries now, we can still put out a good enough 11. We made 9 changes. We made 9 changes on at the Port Vale game, and those players were almost like first team players. We still had Eze, we still had Nogard, we had Waneri, we had that's basically. But Liverpool cannot field 4 or 5 extra quality players.
And I agree with you, because if you look at the Liverpool game at Anfield, we went to that game without Havertz, we went to that game without Ødegaard, we went to that game without Saka.
Yes.
And we still put up a very good score.
Ben White wasn't
without Ben White too. So if not for that free kick, it would have been a 0-0 draw. That would have been a fair result.
I think the way to look at it is, yes, you're without Ben White, but even if Ben White was available, he wouldn't be starting. So you need to look at it.
But you cannot, in all honesty,
not starting.
But you have to account for him. You still have to account for him. Because
what I want to say on the Ben White issue is the only reason we are sure Ben White would not have been starting is because he's been consistently injured for about a year. Think about Ben White when he was 2 seasons ago, Ben White, and last season Timber, both fit, both available. In all honesty, we don't know who starts. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So we only know Ben White won't start now because we're judging based on, Ben White has not been. We know now that Timber is first choice because of Ben White's injuries. But naturally, it could be a case of Timber rest this game, White start this game, Timber rest this game, White start this game, naturally. So for me, the way I look at a good team, I feel like you should not have more than 4 first choice. That 4 players that know we must start every game. If it's more than 4, I'm not happy. Because I feel like a team, or 5 max. You can't have a team that had 9 players know that they are starters. There's no competition in that team, in my opinion. For me, last season,
and they don't have that level of motivation as well.
Yeah, last season was Arsenal's problem. We knew who our starting 11 was every game. We know that our front 3 is Saka, Havertz, Martinelli, and that was never going to change. Now I can bet you if I ask you who is going to start against Newcastle, you will probably get the back 4 right. You get the keeper right. You get the maybe 3 more players, Saka.
6.
But by the time you get to Eze, Martinelli, Merino, but it becomes a bit confusing. I don't know. And by the 15th game, you'll see when they start resting Rice, resting Zubimendi, resting maybe Gabriel, because Nkapie must play. Nkapie will play. He has not just played now because of his injury. So there's going to be a lot of course, we know the key players, but there's going to be a lot of rotation, mainly also because of too many games and World Cup.
And people have to be fresh as well.
Context,
Simon, go ahead.
But that's the thing. So now you say this because you're making a case for using an entire squad to win the league. But you then have cases where Merino was starting ahead of Rice, or Rice was being rested for the Champions League game against Bilbao, and Merino was starting, and people had issues with that. Or you then say Eze doesn't start a game, and people would have issues with that. So on one hand, you want Rice to always play, you want Eze to always play, you want Gyokeres to always play, you want Saka to always play, you want Saliba to always play, you want Gabriel to always play, you want Timber to always play. And when the manager then decides to use his squad, you then have people say that he's approaching the game from either from a defensive perspective or from a negative perspective.
Yes.
So we can't have a squad. See, for instance, I watch Bein Sports, right? So you would see that the game against Trossard assisted in the Leeds game, right? Or he scored in the Leeds game or the Bilbao game. Trossard had a goal and an assist.
Bilbao.
So he then started the game against City, right? Yeah, he did start against City. So if somebody has scored and had an assist and then starts the next game, the analysis was like, why did you start Trossard? But he's a squad player that sort of played his way into the team by his performance. He got dropped, got back into the team against Port Vale and scored. So if Trossard starts against Newcastle, you will still have people that say, why is he starting the game and Eze is not starting the game? So you either...
Okay, so let me counter that real quick. If you look at Man City, for instance, when you rotate your squad and win games, the fans will have more confidence in the guys you have brought into the team. You can also like Riyad Mahrez score a hat-trick right
but
now.
You have to
go into the bench.
But you have to rotate. But one thing comes before the other. You have to rotate the team before you can actually win the game. You don't win the game.
Yeah, but the complaint comes after. But the complaint usually would come after the game.
After the
result.
Like for example, now Rice
after the fact, but the manager doesn't have that.
Yeah, Rice. I don't think Rice started the Nottingham Forest game.
The Nottingham Forest game, correct? Yeah, that's the one.
I didn't start that game.
Yeah.
No, he didn't. Yeah, because that's when Merino scored the hat trick.
That's when Merino scored that. Yeah, correct.
So Rice didn't start that game, and we won 3-0, and there was no talk of Merino.
No. It's for me.
No,
for
he
me.
didn't start the game. Yes.
Yeah, Rice didn't start the game, and Merino did, and we won 3-0. If you notice, nobody spoke about it. It was a good, convincing victory. Everybody was happy.
Yes.
But the truth of the matter is that at this point in time, Eze is like the star boy. Eze is our marquee signing. Eze is the guy that everybody feels like Omo.
I watch on Bean, right? And when the squad came out, what's his name now? The guy on Bean. Oh my God, I always turn it off and I don't listen to him. Oh, jeez.
The pundit.
Yeah, the pundit. He said categorically that because Merino started that game, that Arteta is the reason Arsenal is not going to win the league, because if he has a mindset of Arsenal playing Merino and not starting Rice against Nottingham at the Emirates, that's the reason Arsenal is not going to win the league. So you have pundits, pundits
to be honest,
stuff like that.
Yeah, there's always there's always going to be
echo those same thoughts.
Yeah, but in the end, you can actually please everybody. So it's what it is.
All of us analyze the game after it has happened. So we have the results in our hands. But the manager needs to look at his team and then say, if I tell all these people, like Mosquera, for instance, Mosquera actually started playing because Saliba got injured at Liverpool. If Saliba wasn't injured, we wouldn't have known how good Mosquera was. Most likely,
I agree.
Yes, but I'll be okay. So let's look at this. Let's look at this.
If trusted Mosquera to start a game, we would have said, "Oh my goodness, why would you drop Saliba?" But it happened by chance. So sometimes we need to be
that happens.
Yeah, sometimes we need to be
but the truth is, you are not going to start a Mosquera away at Anfield if Saliba and Gyökeres
are available.
It is a player by player case.
Yeah, true.
So for example, now if he starts Skelly in any game, nobody is going to question him over Calafiori.
Yeah.
He's always going to look at his rotation. If he starts, for example, now Madueke over a Martinelli, nobody would complain. But if he starts a Madueke over a Saka, a fit Saka in a big game, they're going to be groans.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm trying to say? So when the rotation comes in my opinion, is, for example, now you are playing at the Emirates, you are playing at home. There's already a 60-65% chance you are going to win this game because you are at home. So you need to go for it. That's the way I see.
Yeah, that's the issue.
So for example, now you're not going to drop Gabriel to play in Capie against City. But when you are playing in Leeds at home, you can say, Gabriel, take the day off, sit on the bench in Capie, give me 90 minutes in this game.
Yeah.
You understand? With Saliba, so there's protection. So it's like bringing Mosquera and Capie to just play a match together. First game, the third game of the season against Liverpool. Yeah. People think you are mad.
It won't work. And
Saliba and Gabriel are on the bench. So it's a player by player basis. Eze is our marquee guy. Eze is the guy that we believe has been bought to change the way we play.
Yeah.
So when you don't see anything in the lineup, you are thinking, why you come buy him?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think that was worse in the sense that even if you're going to not play easy, there's a space in central midfield because Saliba was Ødegaard was injured.
Ødegaard is now injured, exactly.
Yeah. So if you wanted to still play Trossard on the left, Eze should have actually come to the middle. But it's all good. It happens. Yeah. So there's a question on the chat from Daffy. Thanks for coming, Daffy. It says Liverpool's transfer window had a lot of marquee signings, but did not save well to cover their gaps. I agree. Now, speaking of gaps, Simon, let's take this question. How worried should we be about Madueke's injury? Can this derail our attacking plans?
Saka's back, so that's pretty much the answer. The Saka stays fit. I don't think there's anything to worry about. It's pretty much that. So Saka's back. If Saka gets injured, then we get worried. But for now, Saka is back.
Okay, so but do you think Saka should be playing 90 minutes week in, week out? I don't think so.
If Saka is fit, Saka starts, and Saka will give you 70 minutes every time. If you do your job properly, you should have won the game. No, not you should have won the game. You should be winning the game in 70 minutes, and you can bring in. At that point, you can bring in Martinelli on the right, or you can bring Waneri, or you can bring Max Dalman on the right to. And I think we're getting once we get past Newcastle, we're going to get a spate of games where we can manage the intensity. So as long as Saka is around, we're fine.
Okay, so if you take this question. Did the late equalizer against Man City show mental strength, or did it expose our early game weaknesses?
Okay, well, I don't think we have early game weaknesses so far, at least this season. So we got clouded by the emotions and the excitement of the equalizer. And if you realize that, I always say this thing, that Arsenal fans are they love me, hate me fan base. You see the goal that Haaland scored, it was a massive defensive error.
Yeah, from Gabriel.
Which nobody has analyzed. I've not seen any pundit or any Arsenal fan analyze it anywhere.
True.
It just looks as if Haaland scored, and we move on.
Yeah.
But if Merino caused that problem, or Zinchenko caused that problem, we would have been talking about this thing to the end of the season. Oh, if Zinchenko did not cause that issue, blah, 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 blah. Gabriel made an error in that game. He got sucked in.
Yeah.
And then he didn't recover.
Yeah, he didn't have the pace to recover.
And Saliba, on the other hand, I was very disappointed with his marking in the game because for me, the threat was Haaland.
Yeah.
I don't care who else is coming.
No.
I don't care who else is coming. The threat is Haaland.
So I will counter that. Let me tell you, I will counter that. As soon as Gabriel got sucked in and Reinders got the ball, Saliba had an active man in front of him with the hope that Gabriel...
Yeah, which was Reinders.
With the hope that Gabriel can potentially recover. If Saliba leaves Reinders to cover Haaland and Reinders gets a free shot at goal, they'll rain down on
better
him.
For me. Better, yes. Better for you know why? Because
I have a
Reinders...
opinion when I saw that goal, right? I think.
Okay, let me hear yours.
No. Okay, before I speak, I want you to respond to my question before you speak.
No, I don't. Go
ahead.
Okay,
Sorry. Okay, so yes, he showed mental strength in the sense of we didn't give up. Yeah, but then it's hard to really, because we are abusing Liverpool for scoring late goals and not attributing it to mental strength. And saying that they are weak,
they are lucky.
They are lucky, exactly. So now saying our own is mental strength.
Okay, so the last time I checked, the double standards rules the world.
Double standard, exactly. That's double standard. But in all honesty, I'm happy with the fact that whether they call them finishers or whatever they call them, I'm happy with the fact that our substitutes are contributing to what needs to be done, and I'm happy it's coming from Martinelli, because all along and you see my problem. I'm sorry to divert this conversation now. With everything Martinelli did in the last two games, the Bilbao game and the other game, I'm sorry, but as a manager, you cannot play him against Port Vale and play him back on the left wing as a left winger to be running at player. You see that he's better running off the ball.
Okay. I see the funny thing. Prior to the game, when I saw the lineup, I thought Martinelli was going to be in the middle, right?
Me too.
But as soon as the game started,
That's what I
they just
thought.
tweaked the whole thing around, and I was
And
like,
everybody
wow.
says, and everybody keeps saying, you don't see them in training, you don't do this. But come on now, we're human beings, we have sense now. Do you understand? Like, we know he's not good 1v1.
Yeah.
You understand? Especially because we play against low block teams. So now if we play normal football where teams are coming out against us, it's okay because he likes space, he likes grass.
Yeah.
So a player that likes grass, you need to play for him to see grass. And that's the problem Gyokeres is also having.
Yeah.
So for me, that is a manager issue. It's not a training ground, drill, this, that. Play everybody to their strength. In the last 2 games, Bilbao and this guy, we played Martinelli to his strength. Where he runs off the ball and we feed him. And he scored 2 goals. Keep that up. So now, so I don't diverse too much. Any game weakness, I don't really think we have any game weakness at the moment. First goal we are conceding from open play after 5 games. That's fine. We didn't concede in the Champions League. We didn't concede against Port Vale. Mental strength. We can use it as mental strength. Liverpool fans are upset. They should call their own mental strength too.
Yeah, okay. So Simon, I want to hear your take on the goal.
I think there's a tendency, right, to analyze Martinelli's goals from a perspective of system rather than face of play. I think the goals that he has scored are more a result of face of play than a system will generate those kind of goals. So Arsenal is never a team. Arteta is the manager that wants to dominate the game. Arsenal is a team that would always be putting pressure on other teams. You would rarely find a situation where, so you only get those kind of runs that Martinelli made when a team is pressuring you. You're never going to get that space.
Yeah.
It's like if you don't have, if you're with the ball 70% of the time, like we were against City, where are you going to? You're not going to ever invent that space. The space is never going to be there. So it's more from a perspective of face of play. The face of play that guaranteed that produced that goal in Bilbao was because they were actually trying to score. We got the ball really quickly, and then they said we had somebody who was intelligent enough to find that pass in Bilbao, and we had the same thing against City, Man City. When you're playing Port Vale, they are never going to be attacking us in that perspective. So that face of play might never generate, even though it's your intention to do.
So does that mean Martinelli should not have started, or does that mean we don't need Martinelli's type of talent, type of skill set?
No, you
with our current team.
That skill set and the style of play that generates that kind of those kind of opportunities are more in games like the ones that we've just described, where you have a team that is going to actually be chasing you. If you go and play Brentford in the Emirates, you don't expect them to be putting pressure on you 50%, 50 yards into your own goal or 30 yards to your own goal that will create the space behind for you to run. You expect that you're going to have to carry the ball to them. That's why a player like Madueke is very important. So the face of play that will generate that space will never be there. So you're going to need Martinelli to say, okay, now I'm in a game where I'm not going to have space to run. How can I invent myself to take advantage of the little opportunities that I have? That's where Trossard is really smart, because he creates the space himself, and on the very little opportunities that he has, he takes advantage of it. So smart players reinvent themselves in those situations if the face of play does not guarantee that passage that you need as well.
Yeah. So Daffy in the chat was like, the equalizer against City was a show of mental strength, not known to us. I've had a few of those. Then he made a comment about the problem is not the mentality, it's the ability to switch to a system when we're behind in games. And I agree with him on that. So let's go to the next question. Efizi, he says, given our recent form, are we better positioned than last season at this point?
Everything we do now is better than last season. Last season was a shock. By this time last season, I thought we had 2 red cards. we had our first red card against Brighton. I think that was the third game of the season, or second game 3. And I think our second one was maybe game week 6 against City.
Trossard.
So already right now we've not had any red card. I think I think we have a better point because as our last season won our first two, drew against Brighton.
Fulham.
Then I'm guessing we won our next
Fulham.
two before we drew with City. I can't remember clearly right now. But okay, Fulham was the fourth game. Yes, Fulham was the fourth game. We drew that as well. No. Fulham was we lost. No, we lost to Fulham home and away last
at the Emirates. It was 2-2, but in their home in December we lost 2-1. Yeah, you know that
okay. So
Fabian had a very good game. It's best ever game for us.
Okay, so where we are now, in all honesty, so this is the question that now brings up the statement about run of games we've had. So we've played United away.
Leeds home.
I think Liverpool was away.
Yeah,
Liverpool was away now.
Yes,
Yeah.
Leeds home, Nottingham home.
Yeah, Liverpool away. Yeah. So Leeds home, Nottingham Forest home. Yeah. So now, in all honesty, our next big issue now is on Sunday. If we need 3 points on Sunday, and in all honesty, we should get 3 points.
Newcastle are not actually, but for some reason,
at the moment,
they're always motivated when they play against Arsenal for some reason.
But without Isak right now, I don't think I've not seen Anthony Gordon in a while. I don't know if he's back. I think he had a red card. I don't know if he's back. Yeah, Harvey Barnes. I've not seen Harvey Barnes in a while as well. And so I don't really, with Newcastle, I don't really know what's happening at the moment. They're now playing a back three.
3-5-2.
You know, they're all over the place. Yeah, they're all over the place at the moment. So I think it's a good time to take advantage of them. I think we need to win the battle of the midfield because their midfield three, they are beasts. And they're going to try to bully us. They're going to try to bully us again. So my fear now is that Merino starts again. Because when you have Joelinton, Gyökeres and Tonali, I believe Mikel might want to play.
I think Merino might be okay for that game because you cannot use one area in that kind of midfield. It will be difficult. Well, let's just see how it goes.
But the problem is that you can't have Rice and Merino. It's never really worked out for us. So for me, I'd rather just go Trossard Eze. Eze or even just go Martinelli Eze, in all honesty. Because I can't really think of any other person to really. Personally, I'll play one area, but Kululu has already given me a bad mind about one area at the moment. But we are definitely better suited than last season because as of last season now, if you see the conundrum we're having where we don't even know our starting 11. Eddie Howe is having that problem right now with his managers, which is what we want. Yeah. Because now we don't really know. We might know that 8 players will start, but the problem is those other 3 who are there. How do you compensate? Do you start a Livramento? Do you start a Kieran Trippier? Do you start all? It's going to be a problem for them as well, which is exactly what we need. So 3 points at Newcastle, and I think by December. We should be at least 5 points clear. Okay. At least 5 points clear. Yeah, I think it's a good start.
So Simon, this question goes to you. Is the squad deep enough to challenge on multiple fronts? League Cup, Premier League, FA Cup, Carabao. It is
100%, yeah, 100%.
It's too deep.
That's the reason why so you would see that I think so the question on Liverpool's transfer window and ours, I think that we filled our squad better.
Yes.
But Liverpool improved on quality better.
Yeah.
So, and on the long run, given because Arteta should have won a few more cups, even if he hasn't won the league, there's no reason why he hasn't won another FA Cup or another Carabao Cup or something. Yeah. So we have a complete squad now that should be able to confidently challenge on 4 fronts, injury permitting, but no excuse. Yeah.
No, but the question, why are we dropping like flies every game? What can be done differently?
So it depends on the type of injury that you're having, right? So like the one Ødegaard, the injuries that Ødegaard have had, they are contact injuries.
Yeah,
There's
impact.
Nothing that can be done about that. Saliba as well, he twisted his ankle. There's nothing that you could have done about that. That just happened. The type of injuries you should be worried about are the ones that are due to muscular or like hamstrings.
Yeah, like
Things
Havertz
like
and
that.
Co.
Those
Yeah.
back Havertz and Saka's, you can be worried about those. But if you, yeah, some people say it's the intensity of how we play, but I'm not an expert, so I can't comment to that
Yeah.
extent.
Okay.
But but the thing is that sometimes many people just wrap up all the injuries and say you have a lot of injuries. But you need to be able to separate impact injuries, contact injuries from muscle injuries, and then to
Yeah.
give you a clearer picture of
Of how to react.
how to react to it. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, Fizi, let's answer the next question, and I'll start with you. Is there a realistic route to the Champions League this season?
Hmm.
Hmm.
It has to be a 4-10
You,
out. So,
you see, the Champions League is always a tricky one.
yeah,
So with
so
Champions League, you need a squad and you need luck.
luck.
Yeah.
So now, they've increased or they've reduced your luck factor, or whether it's increased or I don't know. I think they said the first 4 teams will get their second legs at home throughout till the semi-final. So once you come first 4, I think in the knockout stages, all your home games, all your second legs are going to be at home, which I think is an advantage, and I think is a fair advantage because
But Real Madrid didn't have that advantage against us now.
no, against PSG we were home first.
Yeah, but against Real Madrid, we were home first and we beat them. We went to their home and
No, you can win your home game, which is fair. We beat Real Madrid 3-0 at home. Yeah, anywhere you beat anybody 3-0, the second leg is almost you have to be exactly. You have to be a Liverpool or a PSG or a Barcelona. Those tricky games where you come back. Usually 3-0 at home. If we had beaten Real Madrid, for example, 2-1 away first leg, we would have still gone into the second leg more confident. If we had beat Real Madrid 1-0 at the Emirates, it would have been a more tougher game at the Bernabeu in the second leg because they would have come with the mindset of that they were going to be able to come. Yeah.
But you need to remember that when we went to Madrid, the atmosphere in that ground was, and even the press before that,
The
there
lineup,
was
the
that
build up.
whole they believe that they
Yes.
can do it. So I think Madrid is actually the worst place where you can go with any type of lead and think that you can't win.
Yeah, but my point is because it was
I get the
3-0.
overall point. Yeah, because it was
Yeah.
3-0. Yeah.
So realistically, and based on our performances last season in the Champions League, because honestly, we're not lucky in the Champions League. We actually played well.
Yeah,
we were. I think Arteta's approach would favor us more in the Champions League because you are playing against teams.
The PSG game. If you remember, the first 15 minutes, we should have scored 3 goals.
Yeah, that's the way. That's the second leg.
Yes.
Yeah,
the second leg.
Even the first leg, there's some very
the first leg we should have. Sosa should have scored. Martinelli should have scored.
Yes.
So that is what I mean by the Champions League and why it's realistic. Because the Champions League, if you take away the draws, you can beat anybody. And I keep telling people this thing that realistically, Arsenal on a good day, they can beat anybody in the world. You understand? PSG got exposed by Chelsea. Now Donnarumma is gone, and I believe that he's a better goalkeeper than their current goalkeeper. Anyway. So they are a bit weaker in that department. Now they also have a very small squad, and whether you like it or not, they've already started mounting. Their injuries have already started mounting because Dembele is out, Ruiz was out for a while. I think Due is Bakola, one of them is out. It's going to tell. And then so your major competition this year is looking more like a Barcelona who didn't go to the competition they had in the summer. So they are also fresh. Even though I heard Rafinha is out today as well and Gavi is out, So realistically it's there. Then also you have the factor of Arteta's, I don't want to call it a pragmatic approach. I'll say a domination approach. It works. It will work in Europe because you are going to be playing teams that in their leagues they will just be rushing their opponents because they are better than them. A Barcelona, a PSG, Real Madrid, they're rushing. But when you meet them, you actually control the tempo of their game. So they are never going to be used to it. And because they have expectations, they cannot also just pack the bus. You understand? They also want to look for a way to dominate you. So that way it's easier to exploit them. You're not playing a Leeds United, I'll tell you that until you score your one goal before you go see two. If you don't score that one goal, you don't go score. They will block everywhere. They will frustrate you. But Real Madrid is not going to block you in Bernabeu in front of 90,000 fans. They are going to bring the coach's head. They are going to cut the coach's head because they want them to dominate their opponents. Yeah. So it's a better playing ground for us generally. And if you remember that first leg against PSG, that if you watch that Dembele's goal again, Declan Rice, Declan Rice played the deeper role because Partey was out.
Yeah, he had the suspension, yes.
Yeah, Declan Rice just followed Timber. So he followed Timber to Mark Craver. And as soon as he was getting to Timber, Craver passed the ball immediately to Dembele. Dembele didn't take a touch. Dembele hit it immediately. It was the first time hit. And throughout that game, they had one or two other chances towards the end when Goncalo Ramos came on. But generally, I tell people that I felt that we could have still won that game like a 2-1. You understand? Because we had clearer chances. No offside. Goncalo Ramos had a chance, but was borderline offside. They didn't call it because there was no VAR, blah, blah, blah. So for me, I feel like it's a better route. I don't really know the 8 teams who are playing. They said the remaining 7 teams who are playing in the group, but I heard we have Bayern.
Yeah, no, so we have Olympiacos next. We have Atletico Madrid. We have Inter Milan. We have Bayern Munich. We have Club Brugge. We have Kairat Almaty.
Whoever that is.
Yeah, no, they are based in Kazakhstan.
So what are our away games? Our away games are Inter.
Our away games are Inter, Club Brugge, and I think I'll get the final one for you.
Maybe that Krava people. Okay, no problem.
Almaty, we're hosting them at the Emirates. We're not flying all the way to Kazakhstan to play them.
So you see, for me now with that, so it means that we have Bayern at home and Atletico Madrid at home.
Slavia Prague away. So yes. So we have Bayern at home, Atletico at home, but we have Slavia away. We have Club Brugge away. We have Inter Milan away. Inter Milan is our.
Okay, so I'm expecting we might drop points against Inter Milan. That maybe Inter Milan is a very defensive team as well. We're not very good with playing against defensive team. They are actually very, very good. Club Brugge is a very good attacking team. Yeah. Very, very good attacking team, and they score a lot of goals. They actually score a lot of goals. So that one is going to be a dicey one, depending on what happens before and after in the Premier League. But all in all, I see us finishing top 4 again. I see us finishing in the top 4.
Yeah. So Club Brugge is in between Aston Villa and Wolves. So we'll see how we can.
And the Aston Villa and Wolves, are they home games?
So Aston Villa is away. Wolves is home.
Right. So which is good. Wolves is home with next game. That's fair. Yeah. So that's good for me. That's a good. I think we can go. I think top. We were third last season. Am I right? No, third. We're third last season.
Behind Barcelona and Liverpool.
Good. Okay. So I think we can. I think we'll come top 4 this season. Yeah. So I think we can win the Champions League. Not we will, but I think we can. Actually.
Okay, yeah. So we have Andre Kosak on the chat. Says great job, sending it from Abuja. Thanks for being here, Andre. So let's see the next one. Simon, take a stab at this. So with 6 goals in around 3 to 4 games of play so far, is our attacking output been enough?
6 goals. We've scored like 9 goals.
It's 9 actually. The person that sent this question was wrong. But our attacking output has been quite good. So 1 against Man U, Leeds was 5. Nottingham was 3, and Man City was 1.
That's 10 goals. 10 goals. 10 goals
in 5 games. That's a good output now. I don't know what the person wants. Let's go to the next question. Or do you want to comment? On it?
The answer is you actually need only 1 more goal than your opponent to win the game.
Yeah, and funny enough, even with all the talk
or
of
1-0 to you get 1-0 to the Arsenal and you win the league. Nobody's going to remember how many
yeah,
goals you scored.
but see the funny thing, even with all the goal Liverpool are supposedly scored, they are just one goal ahead of us.
Yeah.
Come to think of it, and we are
So they
already
scored 11 goals.
yeah, they scored 11, and we even have a better
Yeah.
defense.
And you
So,
have a better defense as well.
if you take this one, are there signs that we're creating enough XG to challenge for the title?
So you know that last week I was on the chat on this one. When we're talking about MGs and I'm like, so you see, I don't believe in all this XG thing. That's just the truth.
Arsenal will never be the team that creates a lot of XG because of the way
Yes,
we play.
we're not going to be high. We're not going to be high on XG because
our style of play doesn't permit it actually.
yes. You know, I was saying that Man U even has the most shots in the Premier League at the moment.
Yeah.
So the XG is definitely going to be high. So our style of play does not permit it. And the truth of the matter is, all we need, in all honesty, is just to win the league with this style of play. And trust me, everybody's going to get with the program.
Yeah,
that's just the truth. Atletico Madrid, Jose Mourinho's Chelsea. Okay, well, let me not say Jose Mourinho's Chelsea because people say they were defensive. They were not actually defensive. They were defensive, but they had like flair players like Robben, Joe Cole, exciting players. Yeah, but they were just a very sturdy team. I think that's what we need. I think we need to release our attacking players and then make our defensive players structured, like the Steve Bold era.
Just to comment, history is written by people that win. So you see, if Arsenal had won one out of the last 4 seasons, the last 3, the context of finishing second wouldn't be so bad.
Yeah.
The issue with finishing second is because it has happened repeatedly. If you had just won one of those and you finished second twice, the vibe would have been different. So history is written by people that win.
Yeah, but this in Simon, if you notice, the first season we were leading for 248 days, then we crashed out, right? Yeah. Second season, we went all the way to the final day.
Correct.
And lost.
Yeah.
So there was already this expectation that this last season that went past us now was going to be the final one. And that's why we now did the worst of all of them.
Yeah, so that's how football is, that's how it is.
I think last season, Arteta got scared. I think he panicked. So I think Arteta, the only mindset I think we need to take off is, I think we should not be scared to lose. Because I always say that I would rather win 2 and lose 2 than draw 4.
Yeah.
Because that's 6 points against 4 points.
4 points, yeah.
So, but I think Arteta is more bothered on losses. How many losses? It shouldn't be about how many losses. It should be how many points.
Yeah, I agree.
So if I lose 10 games in a season and I win 26, I can still win the league if I don't draw.
True.
That is the truth. But a draw only takes you look at it like 1 point, but trust me, 1 point is a lot of points to lose.
Yeah,
and 2 points is a lot of points to lose, rather. That's what I'm trying to say. 2 points is a lot of points to lose.
Yeah.
So I think because now if you want to go head to head from last season, we didn't lose to Liverpool last season, both legs. We've lost to Liverpool. We beat City at home last season. We drew with them now. We would have beaten Leeds last season anyways. We beat them. We beat Nottingham Forest last season. I think we beat Man U at Old Trafford as well last season.
Yeah, 1-0.
Exactly. So we have not really
last season.
Oh no! The year before. Last season was 1-1. The one that made a very good save from Bruno Fernandes. That he scored a free kick.
Yeah.
No, that was second leg. Oh yeah, that was Old Trafford. That was
Old Trafford. It was 1-1.
Yeah, that was Old Trafford after the FA Cup.
Yeah, it was the year before that we beat them 1-0. Yeah. We're trying to win the league. The second to the last game of the season.
Yeah. That's true. Exactly. Now, so we drew. Okay. We drew last season and we won this season.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's really like the only game that we've improved. Yeah. So let's look at it game to game basis. You understand? So that's really the only game we've improved. But like in all honesty, you can only start looking at the league after 10 games.
Yeah,
so that's when the league actually now tries to balance out. After the first 10 games, then you can review properly your performances over the last 10 games, because I think Liverpool is meeting United, Liverpool is meeting Man City, I think in their next 3 games or thereabout.
They're so after Crystal Palace, they're playing Chelsea away. After Chelsea, they're playing United home. Man City is for that.
United. Okay,
Yeah.
Man City is for that. Okay, Chelsea, exactly. So, but I know that Man City is in their next 6 games.
Yeah,
Their next 6 games, Man City is there. So let's watch Liverpool's next 6 games. Now they have Chelsea, Man U, Crystal Palace, who is their bogey team, and Man City. So let's see if they can get 18 points from that. While our next 6,
they will be United than Chelsea. You're more. We can hope with Crystal Palace. They will.
You think they'll beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge?
They will beat Chelsea.
Yeah. So Chelsea can be very inconsistent sometimes. That's the challenging about them. But they can turn up though. Let's just see how it goes. So next question here.
Let's see how it goes.
You can answer this one. It says, against Manchester City, we drew 1-1. Did we show enough tactical flexibility?
I think we showed that we have the ability to be tactically flexible, but we did not demonstrate it early enough in the first half.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So the fact that you could play the way we played in the second half, and then we had that very drab first half, it shows that and the manager was very aware, because Arteta is not someone that makes very early substitutions.
Yeah. So I was surprised with that. I was happy as well.
He made it at halftime, and then the half was completely different.
Night and day.
Yeah. So he demonstrated the fact that the team can be tactically flexible. But if you do not do it enough times within the game itself, then that's what causes the problem. 45 minutes is a very long time to waste. And then sometimes we seem to approach games from the perspective of we have time to recover. But if you waste the whole if you waste the whole 45 minutes trying to manage the game and think that I'm going to attack it in the next half, the game might have left you at that point in time.
Because if you remember, when we went to Anfield, Liverpool had considered 2 goals to Bournemouth and 2 goals to Newcastle. Yeah. So there was already this fear that Arsenal can potentially scores.
When
we went into that first half, we were looking so drab. Like, it was only Madueke that tried to do anything in that game. And when we not to now react, we now lost it. So
to be honest with you, I believe that. To be honest with you, that's the only game I would permit injury, because I believe that if Ødegaard, Saka, and Saliba had started and finished that game, because you know where the problem is here. You know where the problem is. Our problem now is that we're also not creating enough because we don't have Ødegaard. We need to also put that into perspective, because Ødegaard starts every game. So we need to put it into perspective that we're not creating enough, because you can't say Ødegaard had one bad season. It takes nothing away from his quality. Now, Ødegaard being our chief creator, or
I think we lost him, network issues.
Oh, okay.
So let's go to the next question. I think he will catch up. So he says, Simon, take this one out. He says, do Arsenal substitution tend to change the games enough?
This season so far, yeah. Last season,
the only husband come, the wife no come.
I think it's back.
At some point we lost you. You became still. But
okay, sorry. I said you can't take away the fact that with Ødegaard on the pitch, Gyokeres will be a better player. It's like husband and wife. You are sending only one invitation for wedding, where you're not a married man. You go send invitation +1. So Ødegaard not being available has already dropped if we're even going back to XG. It has dropped our XG by way more than maybe 60-70% already. Then now not having Ødegaard and Saka together is already a problem. So in all honesty, as a manager, if I want to go in Arteta's defense, in those kind of games without Ødegaard, Saka, Saliba, what you are looking at this point is, make I not lose this match.
Yeah.
You understand? Make I not lose this match. And then, if you start Saka against Man City, when he's just coming back from a hamstring injury, of course, in hindsight, he didn't get injured, so he's okay. But imagine he injured in the first half again. your game plan is shattered.
Yeah, true.
So it's also very dicey for the manager as well. So that's the only defense I can come in to say, okay, on Arteta, blah, 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 blah. But tactical flexibility in game, Arteta doesn't do it too often. What he now did towards the end of the game, if you notice, was when Eberechi came in the start of the second half, he was getting the ball more around the 18-yard box. They were trying to break the defense down. Once they saw they couldn't break it down, what did he do? He gave Eberechi a free roll.
Yeah, so
Eberechi could go and collect the ball, do what he needed to do, which is the only way he can play, in all honesty.
Yeah.
So I think over time as well, as the season progresses, because in all honesty, Eze didn't have a preseason with us. So Gyokeres had only like one game. So as the season progresses, Arteta will now know, okay, because partnerships are going to grow. The Ben White-Saka partnership grew in our eyes. It's not like they said, okay, Ben White, now you're moving to right back, you and Saka, these are you be playing. It grew because they now started understanding each other. Saka and Gyokeres have played only maybe 2 games together, which is the Forest game. No. The Leeds. First game and the second game, Man U and Leeds.
Yeah.
So by the time they play 7 games, 8 games, 9 games, 10 games together, Baba,
but I really want Eze, Gyökeres and Saka to start consistently for a while, just to build up.
Yes. And Ødegaard.
Yeah. So the question that Simon was taking a stab at, we're asking whether our association tend to change games enough. So his thought process was that this season, yes, because if you look at the games that subs came in, Bilbao was one of them where Trossard and Martinelli came and changed the game. We also had a couple of other games like that this season, and of course
But from the I think there are 2 ways to look at it. Do the subs have impact to change the results of the
game?
Yes. But if you even want to put that aside, the fact, can you use subs that can change your tactical approach in a game? That's a step, because let's say, for instance, you didn't even win the game, but you approach like how we did with Man City. At the end of the Man City game, for instance, I'm not sure I knew what formation we were playing because everybody was even in.
Go ahead.
So if you have people on the bench that you can change a tactical approach of a game, and then we start to see results based on change in tactical approach, that's actually more important than if you have subs that come in and then score immediately, like the super sub thing. Super sub thing will die. There's no club that can sustain super sub.
Let me comment on that real quick. If you watch the Bilbao game, we had 2 styles of subs. We had the Martinelli and Trossard that came to change the game, and we had a Ødegaard that came to kill off the game for Villarreal.
That's exactly the point that I'm trying to say.
And when he came on, so when Ødegaard came on, we see the tweaks. Martinelli want to go to the right. Ødegaard sub Madueke. Martinelli went to the right. Ødegaard played with Zubimendi and Rice. Then of course, Merino went to center forward. Trossard was now on the left. So that structure just changed entirely, and I was so impressed.
That's exactly what I enjoy more from substitutions rather than subs that just come in and score. Subs that come in and score take a lot of the limelight. But if you can make substitutions that change your tactical approach and give the opposing team a lot more to think about. Say you start a game with Eze on the left and Eze on the left and Ødegaard in the middle, and then you end the game with Eze in the middle, Trossard on the right, and Martinelli in center forward. That's a completely different conversation from the start of any game that you do. So if you can give people different things to think about, that defender has to think about a different skill set every time that you make a sub, then that's the strength of your squad that's showing there.
I agree with you. So let's go to the next question. Should Leandro Trossard be in the starting XI more often?
The problem is when he starts, he's not just as every time you trust him to then start, you will then see a dip in performance. It happened last season. It's strange. It's a conundrum, right, for every manager that you want to reward the player with a start, And then when you actually then give them that start, you don't actually then see the effect of how of when they're coming from the bench. And some people are just more intelligent. There was last season, it was last season or the season before, when he came in and then he scored, and then he was being interviewed. I was like, what happened? And he was like, I was on the bench and I could see the space. He actually did say it, that I was on the bench and I could see the space and I knew that I was going to have the impact in this particular way. So maybe he has that talent to see when he comes from the bench, and then you reward him, which he deserves. For instance, now in the last 3 games, he's scored twice and assisted once.
Give an assist,
yeah. So if he starts against Newcastle, he is reward for his performance. But you're then afraid that he doesn't have the same effect when he starts again, like against Man City.
Yeah, and it's puzzling to me. Like Trossard would play very well as a sub, then you decide to start him, and he just becomes very anonymous. And him and Martinelli, they were just becoming so inconsistent.
But guess what? Last season, goals and assists after Saka was Trossard.
No. I think was it last season or the year before that he had 17 goals. That was the year before, right?
Even last season, I think he was behind.
So the year before,
No. But then again, if you think of the fact that Saka was injured from December,
and he's still our highest. Yeah.
So that's the problem in its own too, actually.
Yeah.
So I don't think he should be starting games. Effusi, what do you think about Trossard starting?
For me, he can start. I'm okay with him starting. So I'm not really big on all this super sub, blah, 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 blah. Because in all honesty, you score more goals as a sub. You are coming in a different match conditions. Tired legs. Your brain is working faster than the guy that you are against.
The guy might be on the yellow card already. The person might be on the
yellow card. Yeah. But for me, I also feel that when I was very happy in the summer when they did that salary increase, even without the increase in the contract years. Yeah. Because I felt that it was unusual, it was strange. I don't think I've even heard of that before. Mm-hmm. But I feel that right now with Ødegaard's injury, our 2 creative players, if you take Saka, I won't really count Saka as a creative player. I think he's more of a goal scorer anyways. Our 2 creative players are Trossard and Eze. And me, I'm more of the whole flair kind of football. Mm-hmm. And for me, put 2 of them in, put Saka, put Gyokeres in front until Ødegaard is back. So with a full squad, he should be on the bench. But with a squad like what we have at the moment, I see no reason why you shouldn't start or you can't start on the left. Or on the left with the ability to drift, Eze in the middle with the ability to drift. And they just have 2 structured central midfielders in Rice and Calafiori. Because I've always said one thing whenever I've watched Arsenal play. I always say that our biggest problem in Arsenal is Declan Rice.
In what sense?
And say that again.
In what sense?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm going to explain. So he's a blessing and a curse. He's a blessing and a curse because he can play 2 positions. He can play the 8 and he can play the 6. Yeah. And why I say that our biggest problem is that he's one of those ones where you're thinking, okay, should I play a more attacking player in that left 8? Or do I play a more defensive player to partner my 6? Or do I play Rice as a 6 and play an attacking player? So that there's a lot of conundrum all just in that Rice position, because I feel that Rice does not give us the attacking input we can get if we play an attacking player in that position.
Yeah, like Havertz.
Yeah, like playing maybe Havertz or playing even Eze and Ødegaard as 2 central attacking players and playing one player to sit in the base.
Like in the pivot.
But yeah, like hey, playing just one pivot exactly. So you now and you can't drop him. So you can't drop Rice. You don't want to play him as a 6.
From your right.
Exactly. You can't drop Rice. You can't play him as a 6 because you want more control, and he's not really a control type of pivot guy. So that's where the conundrum comes in. But I believe that in games like maybe this Port Vale. You know, like at Port Vale now, we played Eze and Waneri together. I played only Zubimendi. I played only Norgard as the pivot. Yeah. So things like that are what I want to be seeing in the Premier League at home against the weaker side. If we're playing a Burnley, you don't need to play Ødegaard. Rice and Zubimendi. Yeah, low block. You don't need to play Rice and Zubimendi. All you need to do is to maybe play Skelly. Yeah, who would probably not overlap as much as Calafiori will, just to bring a little bit of balance. Or if you want to even go gongo, play Calafiori and tell your centre backs, two of you sit, and Zubimendi or Rice, whoever plays that position, sit, and whatever comes to our defense, I trust the three of you to sort it out. The way City used to play those days, when they leave Diaz and Stone and Rodri alone and bombard everybody and say, when this ball comes back, the three of you, I trust that the three of you will find a way to handle it. And then you play your ball playing goalkeeper. You know, it's a risk, but then, hey, what's football about if you don't take risks? Oh, yeah.
I agree with you. So the next question here says, how has Gabriel been compared to Saliba in terms of the defensive contribution so far? Simon, do you want to take a stab at this?
This one,
let Simon take this one.
You have to look at the data, and I don't have the data.
Okay,
so you're going to have to you're then going to have to go with the feeling, because if you're looking at defensive contributions and you're saying you want to know who makes tackles, you want to know who does tackles more, who does clearances more, who does headers more, who does recoveries more. You want the data to show you that. But if you want to then do it like from an eye test, the problem is that they are both completely different players.
Yeah,
so Gabriel is an more emotional. Yeah, exactly, 100%. That Gabriel is a more. That's why they actually work very well. Saliba is the calm, structured, player, and then you have
Gabriel being the more aggressive
who is more aggressive. So if somebody is playing within a skill set that they have, and then they are doing excellently,
that should be okay.
That should be fine. Right. So I think the variance in both of them is what makes them really good, actually. So but from a defensive perspective, if you just want to say eye test,
it's hard. It's quite hard.
It's very hard. I just think it's very hard to find the answer. Yeah.
Okay, so let's go to the next one. Efizi, has Gyokeres justified his transfer fee with his early scoring?
He came cheap now. There's nothing to justify. If Ekitike went for how much, Isak went for how much, the Newcastle Waterman guy went for how much. This guy was cheap now. This guy Sesko went for how much. This guy was cheap. In fact, he doesn't need to justify anything. 3 goals in 5 games. I tell people one thing. If you write the exam, that's 60%. Or more, at least you have made it 2-1. This guy now has played in a team without his chief creator. And he's been able to back 3 goals. In fact, without the 2 chief creators, in fact, let's be realistically, he has not even played with anybody. Only 1 game he has played with Eze. That's the Nottingham Forest game. And he backed. Yeah. So for me, you judge him when he has Eze, Ødegaard, Saka behind him. Yeah. And let's judge a striker. Let's judge a striker on merit. You are judging Ekitike. He has Gakpo, Waits, Slobozai, McAllister, Salah. Everybody is fit. They are giving him balls, through balls from everywhere. And then everybody wants to judge our striker, knowing that our creators are not available. It doesn't work like that now. And he has scored 3 goals, and all of a sudden, 3 out of 5 goals is poor. He's heavy. He doesn't know how to trap ball. He's wearing Timberland boots. He didn't come to Arsenal to be trapping ball. That's not. When we signed him, we didn't sign a trapper. If we wanted to sign a trapper, there are so many trappers we could have signed. Yeah. People, the guy that when he sees the post, did you see the way he almost broke down the bar at Nottingham Forest?
Man,
that he shot that hit the crossbar.
It would work, yeah.
He almost took the bar. That he's not here to. He's not here to be. There's no sentiment here.
Yeah.
If you come in his way, he's taking you out. Yeah, but that's why we bought him.
Yeah, but can you remember that the game against Port Vale when Max Darman played that ball for him? I just wanted him to just take that defender out first before shooting that ball.
You see, all those things will come. Those things come with confidence. the commentator was saying he could have chipped the keeper. See, when you were buying this guy, you watched his highlight. You don't see him cheap. You saw what he did, and we all said we wanted him.
Yeah.
So now that he has come, you should not now try to now be saying, he should have. That's unfair. You brought him, you know that when he see goal like this, that Beso, he's gone weary. He doesn't think of anything. So let's accept him that way and give him more chances like that.
Feed the Gyok.
I think
yes,
it's
Simon.
I think as Arsenal fans, right, we are more accustomed to players that are more involved. Everybody's involved in the game. So
Yes.
you've watched
like
Havertz
and
Persie.
yeah.
You've watched Robin Van Persie, you've watched Havertz, you've watched Aubameyang, you've watched Lacazette, you've watched Thierry Henry. And then you then have somebody who is
Giroud.
Effect, you watch Giroud, he's always there, he's come back, he's part of the game. And then you have somebody that has only one mindset. This is where the goal is, and that's what I'm going for. So it's going to take us a while for us to adjust to the fact that this is all he's about. He's not going to be the person that will come to the mid. Gabriel Jesus, even for instance, Gabriel Jesus will go to the left and bring the ball and come in and play with someone. He's not that guy. But if you see the goal, I think it was against, was it preseason or the start of the league? No, not the header, the one he ran and made the goal himself. It was the start of the league, his first goal, right?
Leeds.
It was Leeds, correct.
Leeds.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so he has that in him. But he's not the guy that's going to be high touch intensity playing with everybody in the middle. You're not going to get that. So this is who you bought. Like you said, you watch the reels, right? You watch how he used to play. Accept him for that. Measure him by his outputs. How he generates that output. If he gets 10 touches and scores one goal, that's his effective. And that's what we wanted. Anyway.
Okay, so we have 4 more questions left before we call it a day. I know you're quite far, Simon, so we really appreciate your support with this. So he said, is Raya performing well enough to be considered as one of the best goalkeepers in the league this season? What kind of question is this?
Raya.
He's actually not. He's the best goalkeeper in the league. He's not performing. He's not performing to be considered well enough. He's the best goalkeeper in the league at the moment.
I'll rate him ahead of Alisson too.
Yes, right now, he's the best goalkeeper in the league. In fact, if not for what's it called now, favoritism, whatever the English they call, he should be Spain's number 1 keeper. Unai Simon is not better than him.
No. For that one, I think it's down to the coach. Like the coach that favored Giroud ahead of Benzema. So that one is down to the
So he's the best goalkeeper in the league. He's won the Golden Glove, whatever, 2 seasons in a row. What else do you want from him? He has he gets clean sheet everything. What else do you want from him? He makes magnificent save.
And that's my next point. There's some games that he actually helps us to preserve the clean sheet, to preserve the lead, like that.
Plenty games.
Lots of games.
Plenty games. I don't see Alisson is good, but he's not the best goalkeeper at the moment.
I voted him as my best player last season.
Yeah.
And I think
Raya, I agree.
He was my best.
But what comes to mind is that whole Ramsdale drama, right? Before we bought Ramsdale, we had to buy Raya when he was in Brentford in 2020.
Yes. We couldn't buy him.
Then, so as soon as we got the deal for Raya, I think I was very happy about it. But Ramsdale had to leave, and the fans were not happy. But you can see the difference. Like that.
To be honest, Arteta complicated that problem, caused that issue himself.
Yes.
Nobody in the world says that you're going to sub a keeper. There was no need for all that drama. He just brought all that drama to a situation that was already tense. So nobody, like, he made it seem like I watched the game and I wish I could take the keeper off. No, it was completely unnecessary. And then everybody started looking for the game where he would make the sub.
And it never happened.
Yes.
And of course it would never happen. So Arteta was partly to blame.
Why would you waste one sub on the keeper? Does that make any sense?
How much?
And for me, I think Arteta also did not manage that situation well, in the sense that, to be honest, I see no reason why Ramsdale, that relegated 3 times, cannot be Arsenal's second choice goalkeeper. I'm sorry. He's Newcastle's second choice keeper right now. if you can buy, if you can keep Kepa, if you can keep Kepa as your second choice goalkeeper, I think maybe let me know, maybe not Arteta, maybe Edu, because I believe that if we had a better at the time, I'm sure better would have been able to convince Ramsdale to be the second choice keeper at Arsenal.
I don't think so.
Because why do you say so? Because it's English. Because it's English.
He was exposed.
English squad.
Yeah, he was exposed to first team football, and 2 seasons in a row he was keeper of the year.
He was
even ahead of Raya. Even ahead of Raya when Raya was in Brentford.
Yeah.
So,
but do you realize that? Do you realize that Kepa was Real Madrid's keeper? Yeah, was team of the year with Arsenal.
Twice. Yes, twice.
It was team of the year.
Yes, and if you remember, Raya was in the same league, in a club lower than him, right? So he felt a bit slighted by it.
Yes, now, but what you need to understand now is that there were no offers of him going to a club on Arsenal's level or higher. That's my point. If he was going to be Chelsea's first choice keeper, I can understand. If he was going to be Man City's first choice keeper, I can understand. But if you are going to Southampton, when was it last in Southampton? That has every this thing of being relegated. It's a stupid move, in my opinion. Because now, because now I'm thinking that okay, you didn't go to a bigger club, you didn't go to a club at par. Now you are in Newcastle. I thought they were going to sell Pope. That's why they were signing you. They didn't sell Pope, so you'd rather be second choice keeper in Newcastle than be second choice keeper at Arsenal. Makes no sense. And then if he has stayed at Arsenal and come out to say, okay, you know what? I understand my position in Arsenal. I'm going to fight blah 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 blah. What you're going to do is that the way Kepa is now, you're going to get game time in the cups. You're going to try. Look at the game he played against Brentford. Can you remember? You know, it was so tense in that game. Because you're trying to make a point where there's no point to be made. The same way they signed outfield player, they've signed Gyokeres now. We know that he has bench Havertz. They signed what's it called now? Eze. We know he has bench Martinelli. You understand? And now Martinelli is reacting. Havertz too. See that Havertz goal in preseason. He was reacting. Say, I know say they don't sign striker, but lock up. I'm still here. That is the competition you need. Now, Ramsdale just went, fooled himself, went to Southampton. A Southampton team, people are playing out the back. You cannot play out the back. Everywhere is in shambles. You are conceding almost 60, 70 goals in a season. I don't know, from a professional point, he has a higher chance of being England's third choice keeper as Arsenal's second choice than as Newcastle's second choice or Southampton's first choice. Because at that point, your errors are exposed.
Glaring,
Your errors are glaring. But all you needed to do for Arsenal was have a sit down with the manager. Okay, what is my new role? And let's work with it. And then talk to your England manager and listen, or even go on loan for 1 year. See how it is, then come back. That's what I think, Sha.
And that's all good. So let's go to the third question to the end. He says, no, this one, I don't think this one's up for discussion, but let's just have a discussion around it. Has Timber stepped up defensively and offensively to cement his spot? I think he has. I don't think Rice can challenge him now. Okay, so second to the last question, he says, with Ødegaard injured, who should take more responsibility in his absence? Is it?
Just play easy there.
Yeah, I think it's easy. Yeah, that's the
just
easy.
Just play easy there. Really.
Yeah.
Especially if the unfortunate thing.
But if you play Eze there, who do you recommend for left wing role?
That's what I just said. The unfortunate thing is that Madueke is not around. So if you had Saka available and Madueke around, I'll play Eze, play Saka and play Madueke on the left.
Okay, but sorry, I missed the last 15 minutes of the City game and I've not been able to watch it. I was watching on my phone when I was driving back, and I was noticing that it was like Saka played on the left wing.
On the left wing,
he was drifting to that side.
To the left,
like how he finished that PSG game. He was drifting to that side.
So Martinelli came on and played on the right.
No. Martinelli was in the middle. Martinelli was on the right. There was chaos.
There was no formation.
So the way we were playing at that point, Gyokeres and Martinelli were in the center forward. Saka was on the left. Oniri was on the right. And Eze has been Mendy and Rice in the middle. It was an overload, man. As in everybody just
because they took out Timber for Martinelli or something like that.
He was back to Arsene Wenger.
But eventually they now brought in, they now took out Trossard and brought in Mosquera to have some more balance because Doku was trying to have some joy in the left hand side.
Okay, fair enough. I've not watched the game again. I need to watch that game.
So that's the final question for today. Can Eze be trusted in big games now after his first goal and early form? Yeah, that should be the answer.
Why is the word now there? Was he not trusted before?
No. I'm guessing because he was benched against Man City. That's how the question was asked.
Was he benched?
He was.
Okay, benched. Okay, yeah, benched. Okay, I guess benched.
I think Eze has a goal and 2 assists, if I'm right.
Yes,
I think he has a goal and 2 assists or a goal and 2 assists.
No, a goal and an assist.
No. Against 2 assists now. Martinelli's goal and Gyokeres
goal. Yeah, that was
Martinelli's goal. Martinelli's goal was.
Yeah, Martinelli and.
Yeah. 2 assists. Yes.
2 assists and a goal now. Yeah.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of today's stream. 2 amazing hours with Simon, Kululu, and Efizi. So happy for you guys being here tonight. And thanks for making
Thank you very much for having us.
Yeah, any parting words starting with you, Simon?
I think generally let's try to enjoy football. That's the way I am now. Just try to enjoy it as much as you can. If you win a game, enjoy it. If you don't win a game, well, learn from it, move on. Just enjoy it as much as you can. Because the football is now too result oriented that people have started to lose why they actually started watching it.
Yeah.
And if you start to lose that, then there's a bit of you that you have lost yourself. When you go to play football yourself and you go to the pitch on a Saturday or on a Friday, whenever you play, you go there because you enjoy it. So transmit that joy to what you're watching and try to enjoy it from that perspective. Don't only enjoy the results. Enjoy the process. Enjoy the game. The game itself is already too politicized and too managed in a way that we can't even derive joy from everything around it. So if you have an opportunity to see a game that you like, just live in the moment and enjoy it. That's all I can say.
Oh, thank you. Efizi?
Well, just adding to what he said, football now is getting a bit boring.
You can't even celebrate a goal, right? Like I was watching a game with my wife, and then she goes, "Why are you not happy?" I'm like, "I'm checking if it's offside." Like, but you just scored. Yeah, I have to wait first. Like, yeah, I'm checking.
Exactly.
So, like,
back in the day, I don't think I would miss football for any reason. Yes, of course, responsibilities have changed and everything, but sometimes you just sit and just think there are better things or there are other things I'm doing. Before, if there's a game on Saturday midday, I leave the office if I'm working that day just to meet that game. I plan my life around watching football on Saturday, no matter what is happening. But now it's a case of if I'm available, I watch. If I'm not available, I don't watch, kind of thing. So yeah, like Simon said, try and enjoy it as much as you can. We that have been watching football for years now, we know how boring and how it can be when somebody is when you're having an argument with these Gen Zs of nowadays. It gets a bit frustrating. But we're still here. And on the Arsenal front, we need to accept our reality, which is the fact that this is our style of play. And in all honesty, it's not going to change. We can hope for the best, and fingers crossed, we'll have this conversation at the end of the season, maybe when you are doing your final wrap-up of the Premier League season, and we'll have the trophy in our hands, inshallah, by the grace of God.
Hope for the best.
Thanks, man. So also thank you to everyone on the chat, Daffy, Andre, Okay, Osage, and everyone that also had the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys in the next stream.